Big story that we're tracking tonight. It's about the tragic crash of India's indigenous fighter jet. The HAL-produced Tejas, the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited produced Tejas aircraft. One of that aircraft has been part of a flying display at the Dubai Airshow, and it went down around 2:10 p.m., 10 minutes past 2 this afternoon, local Dubai time, after reportedly losing control during a negative G maneuver. The Indian Air Force has confirmed the loss of the pilot and has ordered a court of inquiry on this incident. This comes at a time when the Tejas program is at the center of India's modernization push, with massive new engine and aircraft orders that have been placed by the government recently. So it marks the second known crash of the Tejas aircraft. In March 2024, another Tejas jet had crashed during a training sortie in India, though on that occasion the pilot had ejected safely, which makes today's crash all the more poignant. The Tejas is not just another aircraft in India's fleet, it is the country's homegrown LCA, light combat aircraft, that has been developed by HAL, which is Hindustan Aeronautics. It is a symbol of India's ambitions in defense self-reliance. So in that context, let's speak to retired Wing Commander Gitanjali Singh. She's a defense aviation expert. Thank you for joining us, Wing Commander. You know, based on the maneuver that has been described and what we've seen in initial footage as well, how do you subscribe this incident? What do you put it down to? What are the most probable reasons a fighter jet like Tejas could lose control in this kind of aerobatic display?
Good evening, Vikram. Firstly, a very unfortunate incident that we are viewing today, and this marks the first fatal accident for the Tejas. Last year we saw an accident, but the pilot ejected safely. This is a very signature maneuver that was being performed by the aircraft and the pilot in command. And yes, so these are very highly trained and exceptional skilled pilots. The machine, as we saw, is proven and has been performing the maneuver for a long time now in all the air shows, in most of the times. And today being a very, very unfortunate day that, we can see the aircraft is just coming crashing down in middle of the maneuver. What could have led to it is, a series of events that could have caused it, and loss of controls, maybe due to technical reasons, maybe, so on and so forth. There are a lot of debatable reasons, and I think they will be more clearer when the Court of Inquiry actually finds out and gives us a preliminary report very soon. So I think that should be awaited. That should be waited before we endorse anything that what might have got wrong. Because when an incident happens, it's a series of things that go wrong, and when that Swiss cheese model aligns, that is when the incident takes place. Because there's always one thing connected to the other, and there are systems which are backed by the other system always. So there are standbys to each thing. So, but yes, whenever there's an air show or such kind of maneuvers, there's always very, 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 very low margins available.
Right.
So, you could see this aircraft regains, and, it comes when it goes from a nosedive, then it comes to wings level, just very, very near to the surface.
Yes.
That means that, the controls have been regained, but now the safety margin, the altitude is not at all available. There's no margin available there to again regain and, move up, nose up, and then regain the flight.
So ma'am, I just wanted to ask you, because you did mention air shows, compared to combat situations and what you have in an air show, how remarkably different is it that such maneuvers need to be done by a pilot of a jet of the kind that Tejas is?
See, combat missions as well as air shows, these are very, and as well as flying in general is a very, very calculated maneuvers that are carried out for any of the missions. Even air show is a mission wherein the pilot and the whole team which is associated is very, very prepared towards and oriented, and knows, and very calculated steps are being taken. So all these maneuvers are tested, and this air show in particularly, because there are lots and lots of audience who is there for that enthralling experience, that audience which is waiting for the machine to give that feel, that adrenaline rush, to see that machine so low doing a barrel roll, or doing a negative G maneuver, or signature maneuvers like Cobra maneuver of the Su-30s. So it's like it's a very enthralling experience over there. But yes, the safety margins, I must say, because when you're doing it, you're going into a combat situations, or you're doing a dogfight, or you're engaging into the enemy zones. Those are different, and these have high risk margins, and we with the already known risk associated with certain maneuvers which are there. But yes, very calculated, and even the recoveries are practiced over a period of time. So very, very highly precise and well trained pilots who perform these maneuvers in particular, and the very chosen few who are
Yes.
able to do this.
So this point about pilot safety, ma'am, could you help us understand how it works, the ejection system, how it works on the Tejas, and in which kind of scenarios could a pilot may not be able to eject successfully? Because like you mentioned, there has been another incident where a pilot was able to, in the Tejas itself, was able to eject successfully, but tragically not so this time.
So yeah, Vikram, see, when we talk about ejections, or these are associated with the functionality of the machine. Firstly, if I break it down into what maintenance perspects onto it, that whether that the safety, not just the safety, but just the ejection seat, all the cartridges and everything is working fine. Firstly, that, and the system is checked thoroughly before it is put into use or offered for flying. So that's been there, and then the series of maintenance checks on that. Then when while carrying out a maneuver, and in an air show, so much of audience being around on the ground, so you're already aware that in case it comes crashing down, what are the safety margins from the audience, where are they seated, where the aircraft is going to go down. So a lot goes through the mind of the pilot who is in control over there. So there's one chosen fact that what he chooses to perform, whether he chooses to eject, not eject, and the performance of the machine, whether it performs there, ejects, the ejection is successful, not successful. So these are both the things which are there. And then there's a very calculated decision which he's making at that point of time, that whether to go down with the machine and safely take it away from the audience, so that it doesn't cause a major collateral damage on the ground to the audiences and everybody available there.
There's no doubt it would have been a rather tough decision, and really our hearts go out to the pilot who has lost his life in that tragic incident that has taken place. Wing Commander, appreciate you joining us, giving us those insights indeed. And of course, to get further insights, let's turn to Pallav Bagla. He's NDTV science editor. He's been tracking India's aerospace developments for decades now, and he's here to decode the larger implications of this tragedy. Pallav, this crash comes at a time when the Tejas program has huge momentum. There is the GE deal for 113 engines. The government has put out an order of 62,000 crore rupees for 97 jets, Tejas jets. How much does this kind of incident, how does it set back the perception of India's indigenous fighter program?
Well, I have tracked the development of Tejas from when it was just half a composite wing till earlier this year, when I sat in the cockpit of the Tejas. And the HAL chairman recently told me in an exclusive interview that, see, the first crash which happened of Tejas was in Pokhran in Rajasthan in 2024. And he said that was a maintenance issue, and that the airframe, the aircraft, was a very safe design. Now we have to wait and watch and see what is the real cause of this accident in Dubai. Uh, when we get to know, we will get to figure out whether there would be changes needed in the design of the Tejas aircraft. It has been flying now for almost 25 years and inducted since 2015. So there is a lot of flying experience on the Tejas. And we've had two crashes now, one with a fatal fatality of the pilot, very sad, and the first one where the pilot was able to eject. Whether this will have an impact on the overall Tejas program, I think the court of inquiry will be able to reveal with what is the real reason. And if it is like in the first crash, an issue of the engine and the maintenance and a specific part which was inaccessible, which needed maintenance, and that is what the HAL chairman, Dr. T.K. Sunil, told me in the exclusive interview, then the airframe would not need much changes. It's really the engine which would need to be fine-tuned a little more. And India is working hard to make sure that we have our own jet engine. It's going to take long, but till then we will be relying on General Electric 404 for the Mark 1A, and then further going on to General Electric 414 engines in times to come. These are well proven engines, but these are machines. Something can go wrong. It could be maintenance, it could be something else. It could be that the pilot was not able to recover from the maneuver as the wing commander was explaining. All of that would be part of the court of inquiry, and we will may not get to know all the details, but if there is a need, then the program would have to be halted.
Yes.
But I don't think they will halt the program for the time being, because India is also progressing with its Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft Development AMCA, which is a much more ambitious program by India.
Right. So important to get this piece right in terms of India's aerospace development, Pallav. The pipeline, as it were. Now we need to probably reinforce it with deeper investment, more testing hours, stronger production. What is it going to take for us to set the entire momentum right? Because you mentioned there have been 2 incidents that involve the Tejas, but there are larger implications for the entire development program where Make in India push is so strong on the defense manufacturing front, isn't it?
Well, it is. See, India has tremendous experience in making fighter planes. We have been making Sukhoi 30s, we have been making MiG-21s. So the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, HAL, has tremendous experience in making fighter planes. So I don't think it's a matter of experience or a matter of the industrial processes. What really went wrong in this is hard to tell just now, but I'm sure we will figure out. And if there is a need, the whole thing would be tweaked.
Yes.
But the immense push which is there from the government for a Make in India program for the Indian fighter jets and Indian planes is going to continue, needless of one crash here or another crash there.
True.
Imagine the number of crashes we had with MiG-21s.
And there
we
was
did not shell the MiG-21s. Very sad, very tragic. Lots of pilots lost their lives, and I felt amazingly sad about that.
Yes.
But we only retired the MiG-21s earlier this year after a long, illustrious career of the airplane.
Yes.
So the Tejas is just a baby in the Indian Air Force, and we would see many more because a huge number of squadrons of Tejas would come into play.
Right.
And it's going to be India's mainline plane for a long time to come.
Indeed. Now, this court of inquiry, Pallav, is going to determine what exactly went wrong, whether it was pilot-induced, whether it was mechanical, a systems failure. But equally important is going to be the path ahead for the entire aero development program for defense manufacturing, which is, of course, central to India's push for self-reliance in defense and fleet modernization. And we'll continue tracking every development on this story on NDTV Profit. Pallav Bagla, thank you very much for joining us with that.
We need to get our act on the engine right.
Correct.
We need our own Indian engine. We can't be relying on General Electric for engines for a very long time to come.
So that's a piece that is now the central theme as far as the development of the aerospace program is concerned. And it's something that we'll be tracking very closely and connecting with you to give us updates on where it stands. Thanks very much for joining us again, Pallav.